Hillary Clinton's campaign manager has come out and said that Hillary Clinton will not debate Bernie Sanders in New York because Hillary Clinton doesn't like the negative tone and the ads of Bernie Sanders attacking Hillary Clinton during the Democratic primaries. Now, there's a couple things I want to talk about. First, it shows that Hillary Clinton is a coward and that she's scared to debate Bernie Sanders because, when you are running for president of the United States, we, the American people, have a right for our politicians to be open. We have a right to know what their stances are. We have a right to know how we have a right to transparency. And Hillary Clinton's the exact opposite. She's not open. She switches her stances when it's politically expedient for her to do so, and she often has very bad foresight and judgment. And then she's also not very transparent. She's very cold and she's a very cold and calculating person. And then it shows that she's a hypocrite because during the 2008 Democratic primaries against then Senator Barack Obama, she was seen on video saying that she wants to have as many debates as possible, and that she's very open to having debates. But then fast forward 2016, she switches her stances like tides go in and out. And this is why the American people have a very high unfavorability and untrustworthiness rating of Hillary Clinton. And this is why Bernie Sanders has a very high trustworthy and favorability rating amongst the American people, generally speaking. And then there's also strategic reasons on Hillary Clinton's part for not wanting to debate Bernie Sanders in New York. First and foremost, from the beginning of this primary season, Hillary Clinton has had an advantage more so than any other candidate running, whether it be Democrat or Republican. She has the highest name recognition out of any candidate. And the fact that Bernie Sanders is able to, defeat her in a lot of different states and come close to her in a lot of different states in such a short amount of time is mind-blowing. But she's pushing back against that because she knows that the more and more people hear of Bernie Sanders' message, the more and more likely they'll vote for him. Because if you look at a person who is basically a Goldman Sachs sock puppet versus a person who has, stood up for the American people when it wasn't, politically expedient for him to do so, when it was the right thing to do, but it was the unpopular thing to do. I mean, he was in favor of LGBT rights since since the 60s. When he was mayor of Burlington during his first, time in office, he actually voted in favor of a transgender parade in the 80s, which would be political suicide for, most politicians, but he did so anyways because he knew what was right. But, Hillary Clinton is a person who always came out in favor of gay marriage in 2013. And she's actually one of the people who was, in favor of the Defense of Marriage Act. So just to give you guys sort of a, just to show you guys how she is or whatever. And then also, the media, and, this is not some conspiracy or anything, but CNN, they have a vested interest in seeing Hillary Clinton win. The reason for that is there's actually a couple reasons. Is first and foremost, CNN is like the sixth or the parent company. I think it's like Turner or whatever, Turner Network or whatever. They have a vested interest in seeing Hillary Clinton win this primary and then the general election because they're her sixth or seventh largest campaign contributor. And then also when Bernie Sanders talks about getting money out of politics, who do you think that's going to affect more so than anyone else other than politicians and, basically, well, actually, I would say corporations. But it's going to affect the corporate news media because they make billions of dollars from campaign ads. It's just a simple truth. If Bernie Sanders says that, he wants to get someone on the Supreme Court who is going to be against Citizens United and gets money out of politics, et cetera, then you want to see the pockets of a lot of these, corporate media conglomerates becoming a little bit less heavy. And they don't want that to happen, so they're going to donate and push back against someone like Bernie Sanders, who they see as being a person who's going to make their profits go down. And they do this by not covering him. They have their news anchors say that he's not serious. He's not really wanting to get the nomination. He just wants to push a message. They're saying that his supporters aren't serious, or they don't know much about anything. It's just so much. I mean, and then there's also cases where it's just even like little tiny things that shows how biased they are, such as the font size of Clinton and Sanders' names when it's side by side. And you ask any graphic designer or a psychologist that even if you have a slight or slightly larger font, maybe 2 sizes larger, people's brains are automatically geared to look at the larger font, and they do this all the time, And then also, they prop up Hillary Clinton as being the inevitable candidate. They don't cover Bernie Sanders having massive freaking rallies. Hillary Clinton, she's only been able to have rallies of maybe a couple thousand people. Bernie Sanders has had tens of thousands. I think his biggest rally was like 50 or 60,000 people. Insane amounts of people are waiting, sometimes even a day or so to see him give his campaign speech. I mean, the line that I waited in Akron, Ohio, the line was, I would say, maybe 2 miles long, and it was probably maybe shoulder to shoulder, 5 or 6 people deep. Like, they literally had, I think the capacity for this place was like 5,000 people. And from what I heard, that they had turned away like 2,000 or 3,000 people, and this was on a Monday morning. And it was like what I think it was like 11 o'clock or noon or whatever, and it was just people of all backgrounds, races, genders, just a rainbow of people wanting to support Bernie Sanders because his ideas are not radical, they're not crazy. His ideas are what every other Western modernized country has, and he wants to implement them here because they work so much better than our current system. And the fact that, back to the debate, Hillary Clinton doesn't want to, debate Bernie Sanders because she's fine with the status quo, and she doesn't want to actually push for change that will have a beneficial impact on the American people. And I think that the DNC is also culpable in Bernie Sanders not getting the attention that he needs or that he deserves during this primary. They have the debates during times when people generally don't watch TV. They had one debate, I forget what state it was in, but there was like 2 major football games in that state, and then it was also like a Sunday. It's just like the worst timing whatsoever. And then you also have people who left the DNC to support Bernie Sanders, like Tulsi Gabbard I think she's from Hawaii. She's even said that, she's been attacked for supporting Bernie Sanders by her fellow colleagues in the Democratic Party. So there is a conspiracy to undermine the efforts of Bernie Sanders. And I think that if enough people are willing to support and fight for Bernie Sanders, then we can have real change in this country. We can have a country where we're taxed. I think it's like 1/3 to 1/4 of our income, and the taxes actually go to stuff that benefits us, and not the 0.0001%, so they can go they can get a tax cut so they can go buy a new yacht or something. That's why I support Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders wants our tax dollars to go towards stuff that benefits the people that are paying the taxes, and then also people who are poor. We want to give everyone an opportunity to uplift themselves, and that's why I support Bernie Sanders. Feel the burn. Please donate to his campaign. I'll have the link in the description below. I already donated, and have a nice day. Peace out, guys. I'm a little sick right now, so that's why I sound a little funny, but thanks for bearing with me. And definitely want to be continuing my support of Bernie Sanders. Peace.